the truth is it's a big mistake. If your team's not making their numbers, if they're struggling, if the market's tougher, if there's increased competition, now is the time to lean in and invest in your people.
Welcome back. I'm delighted to have Tony Hughes with me again. G'day, Tony. How are you doing?
Hi, John. Really good to be speaking with you again.
And on a very important topic and very topical topic at this time. I've got a lot of clients and a lot of organizations out there that are finding that there's a downturn in their sales, that the economy is starting to bite, particularly in some sectors. And as a result, the first thing that the CFO and others do is eliminate discretionary spending. And I've heard you talk a phrase that you've got, that the excuse is the reason you should do it. The excuse of not doing it is actually the reason you should be doing it, something along those lines. Tell me what you really mean about that.
Well, John, I really came up with that term back when COVID first hit. One of my big clients is a company called Flight Centre Travel Group, and they've got lots of brands that they use to go to market. And in the big enterprise and business-to-business market, what they found is their account managers and sellers, whether they were phoning an existing customer or a new prospect, were hearing the same thing from potential buyers. And the feedback was, hey, look, I don't even know why you're phoning me as a travel management company when none of my team are traveling. So there's no point speaking. Ring me back when the airlines are in the air again. And the thing I said to the leadership team was that we need to make that excuse for not wanting to have a conversation with us or not want to lean into the relationship with us, the very reason why they actually should. And we created a strategy where we would phone the chief financial officer of prospective and existing customers. And the conversation would go along the lines of, hey, Mary, the reason I'm calling is that with nobody traveling right now, I think there could be a way for you as CFO to drive down somewhere between 8 to 12% of cost. So a cost out initiative on what's going to return to be the third to fifth biggest expense line item on your P&L. And Mary, with no one traveling, you've got no change management issues, and you have the bandwidth in your admin team. When's the last time you reviewed your travel policy and the way you've been running it as a process? So with that strategy, they've acquired hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients in COVID, and they make the excuse for not wanting to talk the very reason that we should. So John, I agree with you. In the market at the moment, you know, we've come through that massive disruption of COVID. The world recognized we're now in a digital first environment. There's lots of opportunities to concurrently drive cost out of how we operate, and at the same time drive employee productivity up, drive the experience that we're providing for customers up. So better experience, lower cost in a digital first world. So interestingly, all of those negative problems became, you know, strong reasons to invest in technology. Then what we found was there was a whole lot of fatigue as organizations pivoted. Then they're struggling to get them back in the office. We're in the era of disengagement. And then on top of that, we've got this new, tougher economy where, you know, the lens is put over every investment that goes up to the leadership team for approval, and everything's competing for priority. So I agree with you that there is a lot of pushback, but I think there's an opportunity to take that pushback that we're hearing and make it the very reason why people should invest.
It's a mindset thing, isn't it?
It is. It's a mindset thing, but it's also a leadership thing. So I'm going to be very provocative. You know, I've been CEO running the APAC region for North American multinationals. I'm a CEO of my own business now. I work with a lot of leaders, so maybe I've got the right to say this, and I don't want to offend, but the lazy thing that any buffoon can do that's sitting in a leadership seat is to just cut cost. It's the simplest thing to do. It's unpleasant, but it's not complicated. It feels safe. The reality is thoughtless cost cutting always has unintended consequences. And the danger of cutting costs is you put the business at a big disadvantage in seeking to go back to positive top-line revenue growth. So, you know, in the world that you and I operate in, John, where we're dealing with sales leaders, commercial division leaders that are maybe hearing from their CFO, hey, look, I know I'd approved the budget for you to spend on maybe sales training and enablement, but hey, times are tough, your team's not making its numbers, I'm going to pull that investment away from you. And the excuse they give is that we're not hitting our numbers, I've got to cut cost. Well, that might seem simple and easy, although unpleasant to do. The truth is it's a big mistake. If your team's not making their numbers, if they're struggling, if the market's tougher, if there's increased competition, now is the time to lean in and invest in your people and do it in a way where you both equip them and also hold them to account for elevated and improved execution in the marketplace.
It's interesting because a lot of my clients, I find during the good times, up until just a few months ago, had no trouble getting their order objectives, getting their revenue objectives. And when we analysed how the salespeople went about that, they had become a bit lazy. They'd gone back, they became product salespeople again. The old feature function benefit, as quick as possible, get a proposal or a quote on the table, then go to the next one, lots of prospects coming through the door. All of a sudden, those prospects aren't coming through the door. And now they have to get back to learn or relearn how to do their prospecting to get the prospects through the door. And then once they get them through the door, of course, they lost some of those skills over the years on how to actually convert them. And the whole process of doing a proper discovery, helping the customer realize the value and so on, is something we've lost a little bit of touch on. So you're right. It's invest in the people, help them prospect better, help them convert better, and then you're addressing your revenue problem. With fewer people buying in the marketplace, that means you're probably capturing market share. And that's the answer I've found in when there's a downturn, is you focus on market share. How are we going to get the market share? Because we'll get more revenue right now doing that, but also when the credit squeeze or the downturn finishes and the upturn starts, which is generally not a long period, 12 months, 18 months, then we've already got an increased market share and we take off again ahead of the competition.
I agree 100% with you, John. And just as a key takeaway for those that are watching our conversation, cost cutting is a tactic, but driving growth is always a strategy. And if you're the CFO or the CEO thinking of pushing back on a request from your sales organization to invest, rather than say, no, we're cost cutting, what I would be doing is say to the sales leader that's wanting the resources, show me the business case. What are the improved metrics that you will commit to in terms of improvement? And how are we going to be able to invest this money in improving sales in a way where I, as CEO or as CFO, can hold you, the sales leader, to account for improved execution around also improved metrics. So I'd be leaning in and investing, because in a competitive market, everybody needs to improve the way that they're going to market, because it is tougher. So now's the time to invest, not the time to pull back.
And talking about mindset, but really it's an opportunity. It's a great opportunity to get our organization more tuned, getting efficiencies and productivity better, so that we do survive well through the downturn and are well poised to grab the market share as it goes through into the upturn.
I agree. And I'll just finish with one last provocation. I was talking to a very senior sales leader this morning who's looking at rolling out a program with my own organization. And he said to me that they just performance managed out of the business a seller that was costing them about $400,000 a year. They're a big enterprise selling organization. Not all sellers are that expensive. But he secured agreement as part of performance managing this person out from the CFO and the leadership team that he could apply 2/3 of that money to investing in the others that are remaining. So if times are tough, I'd be saying performance manage the bottom out of the business and use a portion of that money to invest into those that remain. And it's a big mistake in business to try and manage the bottom up to be the middle. What we need to do is performance manage the bottom, and we need to invest in the middle using the ones that are already great to coach and inspire them. That really is the key to driving great results.
That's a great point, Tony. I thank you for that. And I really think the audience will get some value out of our conversation. I appreciate your time very much.
Thanks, John.